Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach, and you're tuned in to Madden 19.
First opened in 2002, there's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on tap between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions. That's fielded in the end zone. And he won't return this one. He'll go down to a knee, and they'll start at the 25. Now a first down throw. Stafford over the middle, complete. That's Robbins. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 7 catches, 63 yards.
And I get the feeling that he loves this matchup. I mean, the unit he's going against is in the bottom half of the league against the pass. He had to have circled this one on the schedule and said to himself, this should be a big game.
Now the Notre Dame man, this is Theo Riddick. And not much room to operate as he'll get this up only to about the 41. Making the play defensively, Carl Lawson.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here's Stafford now on second down. And the Steeler pressure too much here. He's going down. Carl Lawson in there to sack him, and that is 10 for him now on the year. He was trying to keep his eyes downfield. Nobody came open.
He's trying to do everything that he had been taught, right? Every bit of the technique. But if no one's open, there is no technique except make sure you hold on to the ball as you go to the ground when you're getting sacked.
After the sack, Stafford and the Lions come up on a 3rd and long situation. From the gun, here's Stafford. He sets to fire deep. And a shot taken on 3rd down, unsuccessful. 4th down now.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
A good return there, call it 13 yards. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. Rudolph going to lead the Steelers up now, 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Here's the first carry for Le'Veon Bell. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. It's a 6-yard pickup, but it gets him to 2nd and 4. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give them the yardage that they needed, but they really want him to be that guy, and that's what they're doing early in this game.
Rudolph throwing on 2nd down. Goes underneath for Bell. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. And that one results in 35 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. They'll run it now out of the gun. He'll get about 6 there as he takes this one down to the 24-yard line.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Back to the ground, this time with Bell. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
A first opportunity for the Steelers in the red zone. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 17. Now they'll run it on the toss. And snapped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's 1st and goal.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it? And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Steelers have taken a first-quarter lead. And there you go. Nothing really too complex. Block, keep to your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking beats good tackling on that play. End result, touchdown.
Boswell on now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. The partner just looking at some of the struggles they've had this season. The playoffs are not in their future. As they start to peer toward the offseason, what moves might they make?
I think the running back position. And I know we talk all the time about the NFL being a passing league. But the teams that run the ball effectively, they're the ones that go deep into the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. They have to upgrade here. And you and I both know in recent years in the draft, people have shied away from taking a runner early. But if there's that special one there, I say they go get him.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. To throw on 2nd down is Stafford. He hits Riddick underneath. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Well, it's tough to be a defender in today's NFL because there's so many things to account for in today's passing game, including the back sneaking out of the backfield. Not quite as bad as a turkey bowl where you have that center-eligible stuff, but still a lot of guys to account for.
From the gun on 3rd down, Stafford. It's caught, Jones. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A good pickup there at 22. Operating out of Steeler territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 47. Again, it's Stafford. Wide open receiver complete. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Stafford going to come up 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Throwing again is Stafford. And the Steeler pressure too much here. He's going to go down. T.J. Watt in there to get him for a loss of 5.
Okay, was it a breakdown in protection? Did the running back not pick him up? What does it really matter? Sometimes it's just a great play made by the defense. Big-time sack.
Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. A shotgun snap for Stafford. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by Fabian Moreau. And he will take this all the way down to the 38-yard line. He had a little bit of the turnover bug last week. 3 interceptions. Not an absolute disaster, but another one here. Do you start to get a little worried?
You worry about your team as a whole because you have to find a way to make those interceptions, quote-unquote, go away. And that means your defense. They've got to go out there on sudden change and at least hold people to field goals. And if that keeps happening, they lose confidence in the quarterback, and then no one plays well.
And a nice gain of 21 yards. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled.
And he's in. Touchdown, Steelers. as his guys are in for 6. And the Steelers find a way to stretch their lead.
And no matter how it comes about, when you get good field position, you have to make the defense pay. Short fields usually make for good offense.
Boswell good with the extra point, and that'll make the score 14-0. Boswell on now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Getting set to go again, Matthew Stafford trots back onto the field. And he'll look to rebound from the early interception that led to 6 points the other way.
And when he threw the interception and he had to come to the sideline, I guarantee his first thought wasn't about the interception itself, but what could result. And I know he was thinking to himself, come on, defense, bail me out. Well, they weren't able to in this situation. Now he's got to go out and atone for it himself, but he can't force things.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
I'd say the staff that's up in the booth watching the game, they may want to file that one away. See how fast the free safety closed to make that play? Might want to check into a throw the next time.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. On second down, here's Stafford. And that one is incomplete. And it also concludes quarter number 1. They do, however, have a tough 3rd and long coming up. Out of the gun, Stafford. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. Past the 20. Touchdown, Detroit. T.J. Jones, 76 yards. And the Lions able to get this back within a touchdown. They were already down 2 scores early. They needed something to try to stem that tide, and that certainly qualifies. A big play to get them in the end zone.
It qualifies indeed because, let's face it, they don't get something done on this drive, turn it back over, this game could be 88 and out the gate early.
What? 88 and out the gate?
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, listen, I used to hear my old man talk about it. Usually meant that thing's done.
Well, no, they got the touchdown. It's not 88 and out the gate. We still got a good game going ahead of us. And now out come the Steelers. Now, right now, they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
They'll run it with Bell. Room to run past midfield. An ideal beginning of the drive there as they'll get 20 and a first down.
It's funny, partner. Le'Veon Bell, when he came out of Michigan State, when I go back and look at my analysis of him and what my grades were for him, thought he was a big-time player, great potential, but I didn't know we were going to get this player. I was used to a big, solid, thick running back, but now I've got a full package, a guy who can do everything, as we just saw there, including breaking tackles.
But at the time, 2nd-round pick in 2013, some people probably wishing they'd taken him in the first. And he's going to be stopped at about the 37. Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
Gone! Detroit!
Now they'll run it on the toss. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. 34 yards there and a first down.
Hey, we all know it's turned into a passing league in the NFL, but that doesn't mean people still don't like to run the football. When you run it that successfully, your offensive line is fired up. What they want to do each and every game is run block. Get out and smack some people. I would say go ahead and run it again.
And he's in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell, his 14th touchdown now on the year. And the Steelers are going to add on to their lead. And they're able to run it in. It started with the battle in the trenches. They won there, and they got in for 6 points.
And that's going to be a tough one for the defense to deal with. They've got to go to the bench now and figure out how are we going to slow down this running game, because on that particular play, they had no answer.
Boswell on now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field.
I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
Stafford on first down. Toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Golden Tate, his intended receiver. And now it's second down.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps to have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
On 2nd and 10, Stafford. This is Riddick on the screen. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 8 on the screen, and it sets up a 3rd down.
For a second there, I thought that might break big. Screen pass, looked like it was coming together, looked like there was an opening. Still, ended up with a solid gain.
The Lions on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This time they face a 3rd and 2. The first run for the backup, Abdullah. Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll mean a call to the punt team as it's 4th down.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
Taking it about the 16. It'll be a 47-yard punt with a net of 40 following a 7-yard return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Rudolph going to lead the Steelers up now 1st and 10 at their own 23. They'll start out on the ground with Bell. And able to stay on his feet past the 30 to about the 33-yard line. A nice run there, 9 yards, and it'll be 2nd down.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. That good for 22 and a 1st down.
Dance class, anyone? Did you see the steps between the quarterback and the running back on that counter play?
That's what you need for a good counter.
You have to have it because you're setting up your blocking. There's a timing element as well, but they have to marry up their steps. Otherwise, that timing gets thrown out the window.
Timing was great there and a big run. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's got this down to the 35. 11 more on that one and another 1st down.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Rudolph on 1st down. And nearly picked off there, almost intercepted. Instead, 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Second and 10, Rudolph again. Over the middle, hauled in by Smith-Schuster. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. In for the score. And the Steelers find a way to stretch their lead. Now, he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the 2nd quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Extra point put through by Boswell. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. Boswell on now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. And with this deficit, you can't have too many more drives like the last drive where you had to punt it away.
You know what I would tell my offense right here? The punter doesn't exist, guys. He doesn't even exist. He's not a team anymore. I just cut him, all right? So you've got to go out and create some offense for us here and give us some points. No way does that guy get on the...
Pressure comes, and the Steelers take him down. Carl Lawson in there to drop him for his 11th sack of the year.
They were in the top 5 in sacks in the league coming into this one. That's their 3rd one in this game. Obviously, pass rush has been a strength of this team all year long.
And apparently they're not satisfied with top 5. They want to climb that ladder.
Yeah, I think it goes back to their offseason. They decided to make it a priority, and it's working out.
Out to the flat for Reddick. And he'll get nothing out of that one. No gain on that one, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. Now, they couldn't get anything going there out on the right side of the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
3rd and long. It's Stafford finding his safety valve here. That's complete. 1:57 to go in this first half. We'll come back to Ford Field after this. All right, coming up at intermission. Charles, you want to wait to enhance your Saturday?
I certainly do.
I've got just a thing for you. It's the coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by Orlando. He'll be alongside at half to take us through the weekend in the NFL. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. And they had the touchdown during the last drive, and I'm guessing that you like the balance they had on that last drive.
And I loved it. Forget liking it. Absolutely love what they were doing, because to be ahead of the defense that much, where every play call you have, run or pass, is working pretty well for you.
Makes you look like a genius.
It really does. It also lets you know that your preparation was pretty good, and now the defense has to do all the adjusting.
Wide open receiver complete. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. Give him 30 yards there. So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Now a 1st down carry by Bell. And room there to work it inside the 25. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Lucky 56.
On 2nd down, here's Rudolph. Open man right side is Smith-Schuster, complete. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another 1st down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And strong running there as he's inside the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. Here's Rudolph now on 2nd down. This is Bell on the dump off. And he's going to take it in for a Steeler touchdown. Le'Veon Bell with touchdown number 15 of the year and 2nd of the game. And the Steelers are going to add on to their lead.
I heard a coach talk about those late-in-the-half scores, especially ones that give your team a pretty decent cushion. He said those could be the ones that can finish off a squad if you let them.
Yeah, they've got the cushion. This half has been theirs. Boswell good with the extra point, and the route is on here in this first half. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Here comes Matthew Stafford now to lead his offense back out there. A lot of the problems have been on the other side of the ball. Is that frustrating for a quarterback who's been playing well?
It is, but there's no way that the best ones let their teammates know that. They actually take it upon themselves and say, okay, I have to do even more, or I need to play better. Maybe even say I put my defense in a bad spot. That's what true leadership shows you.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to change much personally.
We just saw another example of how the defense is winning this game. Really at the point of attack, the offensive line is just getting pushed around. I think now as a play caller, you've got to give them a little bit of help. Maybe keep your tight ends a little bit more. Maybe the running backs help you a little bit with the pass blocking. But you've got to help them get some confidence because you can't abandon the play calling right now.
An abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. So we've reached halftime here with the visiting Steelers out in front, fielded about a yard deep. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. So with the Steeler offense on their way out, let's take a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the number 1 or number 2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed, because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure. First play of the drive, a success, 19 yards.
Yeah, another good run there. He's been such a big part of their success here this afternoon. And that last carry, it puts him over 100 yards now for the day.
So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield.
Watch it now, Barney! Barney!
And they'll keep it on the ground with Bell. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. A great play there. His second touchdown of the afternoon. And this Steelers offense is running away with this one. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
Extra point now by Boswell. Extra point put through by Boswell. And that will extend this big lead. Boswell on now to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So we get a look at the Lions offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use, just something to get you off to a quick start.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. To throw on second down. Stafford. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. He had their lone TD earlier. Now he's got a first down. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys in plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch.
Amir Abdullah, 20. And he takes this one in for a Lions touchdown. Amir Abdullah, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Lions are in for 6. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
This is fielded a couple yards deep. And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. And Le'Veon Bell making his way back out onto the field now. Responsible for well over 100 yards of total offense, but still hasn't found the end zone. You think that's in the back of his mind going into this drive?
It's always in the back of the mind of a player who's having that type of a day, because you want that gratification for your work, right? You want that stamp on top of everything. But bottom line for him, he's doing great work. Sometimes it just opens it up for other people to actually get into the end zone for him.
The runners, you know, would they rather have 60 yards, 3 touchdowns, or 150 no touchdowns?
I think more than likely 150 and no touchdowns. But all the runners that I know would say, I'll take 150 and 3 touchdowns. They're greedy that way.
Right back to him on first down. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
Hey, a lot of points have been scored in this game, but what a nice play by the defense. Stepping up on that one. Maybe they'll get things going in their direction after a play like that.
Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
From the gun, here's Rudolph. And bulldozing his way through. Complete. It's Henry. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. 23 yards on the play.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
Rudolph. And he's going to be hit and taken down. Back right around the 48-yard line. Oh, free safety blitz, that can be a gamble, but it proves fruitful there.
Yeah, you're exactly right about the gamble, because oftentimes the free safety is the last line of defense against a long pass. And when he comes at the quarterback, he'd better get home and make the play. Otherwise, a big play could result for the offense.
Gun, gun! Gun, gun!
Out of the gun, Rudolph. Open man completes it to Smith-Schuster. And he's going to get it down to the 33-yard line here. A good pickup there. 18 yards as they get closer for third down.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and maybe an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. They'll go back to the ground with Bell. Bell so light on his feet, and he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. That good for 22 and a first down.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. And with the play clock winding down, we're going to get a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Now Bell. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers. Le'Veon Bell, a 5-yard touchdown run. And this Steelers offense, they continue to pour it on. So he's in for his 3rd score of the game, and defense probably saying, man, we don't want to see this guy for a long time.
It's bad enough when anyone scores a touchdown against you, but for one person to get 3, it almost sets him apart from the rest of the game, and no one likes to see any of those players on a pedestal, not from the defensive point of view.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here. And if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom, quick, 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 and what a terrific play, holding them to no gain.
Back now at Ford Field. The Lions on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. To throw is Stafford. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
He'll hit his running back, Amir Abdullah. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen, because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
Stafford, and that is incomplete.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. No one got it. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. To throw again. Stafford. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means they have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Stafford on 3rd down. The completion to Whittle. And he's got the first before he's brought down at the 39-yard line. They get 5 out of that one, and it moves the chains.
There are a lot of tough routes to try and cover. When you see a runner come out of the backfield and run this angle route, looks like they're going to the flat, and then they put their foot in the ground and cut back sharply inside, not easily covered, and then when they catch it, good momentum built up by them as well.
And able to pick up the first. And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. So line of scrimmage still the 39 on 2nd and 10. Back to the air. Stafford on 2nd down. He hits Riddick underneath. Dropped at the 35. Able to display his agility, but not much room to operate. A gain of 4 on the play, and they're going to have a 3rd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack is a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
First catch so far for Tate, and he's got a first down.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
On first down at Stafford. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. Carl Lawson in there to get him, and that's sack number 12 for him on the year.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a second down and 17. From the gun, here's Stafford. And he's going to go down again. Stephon Tuitt in there for the sack, and that is now 21 for him on the year. Wow. And that sack certainly just strengthening his candidacy for Defensive Player of the Year. You think he's got that one in the bag yet?
I'm not willing to vote quite yet just because I want to wait until the season's over, but he is really tracking towards it. Just look at all the great plays we've seen from him throughout the season. Strength plays that you referenced there, as well as agility plays. Yeah. They just have not found a way to block him consistently.
Looking left side, and he's got a man. It's Robbins. And this time not quite to the 30. It'll be down at the 31-yard line.
Well, that's certainly playing down in distance very well by the defense, isn't it? Take whatever you want underneath, by all means.
And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good. And they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. Well, in the grand scheme of things, those 3 points likely not going to matter much, but I guess they get a little closer, a little more respectability.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They've been outplayed all game long, but like my mom used to tell me all the time before I went out, dress up a little bit, son. Make yourself respectable. And that's what they're doing here. They're just dressing up the final score.
And this doesn't work. The Steelers recover it. Well, fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of an anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. It's a 9-yard pickup on the play, and it'll be second and about a yard to go for the first. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
So the Steelers with the football as we get you reset. And they have just about put this one on ice as they've got it here. First and 10. On first down, Rudolph. Over the middle here to Brown. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger target.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. And let's not forget he had the receiving touchdown earlier. Now a trio of rushing touchdowns. Quite a performance.
Diversification. That's all you can talk about. His ability to do everything leaves him on the field on every down on offense because you can hand it to him as we've seen. What'd you say, 3 rushing touchdowns? And, of course, throw it to him where he's caught 1 as well.
Boswell on now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest,
don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Use that as ammo going forward.
Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
On second down, here's Stafford. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. And the play goes for 19 yards. Gives him a new set of downs.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
On first down, Stafford here. Throw left side complete. That's Robbins. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. Throwing again at Stafford. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Mike Hilton. And the return here is stopped at the 35-yard line.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
The Steelers offense now, they head back onto the field. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win.